What's up everybody, Michael here from stevesdigicams.com, coming to you today with some very exciting news out of Photo Plus in New York City. It is, of course, the announcement of the Sony A7R III. Well, it's really funny, I just finished up my Nikon D850 review a couple weeks ago, and I said to myself, man, if Nikon can figure out phase detection, autofocus, and they could put it into a mirrorless body that had in-body image stabilization, it would be an amazing camera. And that's kind of what Sony has done here with the A7R III. So let's get into it. We've got the same 42.2 megapixel BSI CMOS image sensor that was in the A7R II, but don't worry, the entire inside of the camera, from the circuitry to the processors and even the CPSU, and the processor is the Bionz X processor. So this is a camera that is wholly redesigned on the inside, which makes it faster. We're shooting 10 frames per second in 14-bit uncompressed RAW. We're shooting, there's 15 stops of dynamic range on this camera, 399 phase detection AF points, and 425 contrast detection AF points. So that's covering about 68% of the sensor itself. So we've got the 5-axis in-body image stabilization system, which is going to give you 5.5 stops of exposure compensation. The same battery from the A9, that's coming into this camera. It's going to give you twice the battery life as compared to the Mark II. And really exciting for the still photographers, particularly if you're shooting product shots or architecture, Sony has added pixel shift multi-shot mode, which is similar to Olympus's high-res shot mode. And what it does is basically it takes 4 unique raw images, and between each image, it shifts the image sensor itself, so you get extra fine detail, and you basically end up with a 169.6 megapixel still image file that you need to download special software to handle. But what I found, not with the Sony stuff, which I haven't tried yet, but with the Olympus stuff, this pixel shifting technology actually works great for taking images of the ocean, rivers, waterfalls, those types of things where you've got a mostly still background, but you've got a water element or something interesting moving in the center of it. And so because of the way that the image sensor shifts, you end up with this nice blur that looks like you took a long exposure, even though you took it in full daylight without ND filters or any of those types of things. So very excited to try that out. On the video side, this might be the best Sony camera yet. What I'm really excited about is the fact that it shoots 4K video up to 24 or 30p. You've got S-Log 2 and 3 capabilities, and this joins the Panasonic GH5. The Sony A7R III can shoot HDR video in camera. So it actually uses the hybrid log gamma format of HDR. There's a couple different types of HDR out there. There's Dolby Vision HDR, HDR10. You'll see those in streaming services or on Ultra HD Blu-rays and on televisions. And then new for this year, which you'll see on Sony televisions and LG televisions, is this HLG or hybrid log gamma HDR capabilities. And so you'll be able to plug the A7R III into a compatible television that has that and bring out that HDR video functionality. And what's important to note here though is that HDR video is completely different from HDR photos. So HDR photos you think of as those oversaturated, extra colors, very little dynamic range actually, types of highly stylized still images. But for video purposes, HDR is all about bringing out details. So you're gonna get deeper blacks, brighter whites, more details in those whites. So Sony, which I'll play here, a clip from their test footage, you can see when you're shooting things like light bulbs or fire or explosions, you're gonna see more detail around the brightest spots in the image. Now it's the same with the shadows. You're gonna get more shadow details in the darkest areas of your imagery, and you're also gonna get a much deeper black level. Also, it shoots HD at 120 frames per second, which is, again, is something we also saw on the D850, although that was an in-camera situation where it came back to 24 or 30 frames per second, and it was a bit choppy. So it'll be interesting to see how this one works. Is it an in-camera limit to a specific frame rate, or is it just like the GoPros where you get 120 frame per second file and then you can decide whether or not to slow it down or speed it up in post-production. The camera has the same OLED True Finder as the A9. The camera is also customizable. There's a My Menu functionality. You'll be able to change 30 buttons and features all over the camera to customize it to the way you want. Okay, folks, there you have it. The Sony A7R Mark III. Now, all I can say is that I can't wait to get my hands on it, but I have to say, after shooting with the Sony A9 earlier this year and enjoying the speed and autofocus and the video capabilities, and shooting with the Nikon D850, dealing with its larger megapixel count and low light capabilities, this A7R Mark III with improved battery life with, dual SD card slots, I forgot to mention that earlier, this pixel shifting high-res capabilities, the 4K with HDR video capabilities, the speed, 10 frames per second at 14-bit uncompressed. It's just an impressive camera, and having shot with Sony cameras before, I know I already adore the way their image sensors process light and color. Wow, this is just an extraordinary camera and I can't wait to test it out. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please like and subscribe. Pre-orders will be down below starting October 26th. So if you're watching this on the 25th, there won't be a pre-order link, but we'll add that when they go live on October 26, 2017. And again, available in late November, early December 2017. For the body itself, it's gonna be $3,200 or $3,199.99. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.